Welcome to today's show with the GABC and the Peter London Global Dance Company. As we still like to refrain from physical events, we want to offer you a variety of different webinars, social events, as well as art shows like today. So we got together with the Peter London Global Dance Company to set up a little dance show, dance performance together with them. We are very looking forward to today, and we are very happy that we could put this together. If you are a member with the German American Business Chamber and you would like to participate in any kind of online event, as in being a speaker in any kind of online event, please reach out to us and we would be happy to set something up together. You can just reach out to us via email to miami@gabc.us or telephone. I will, or any social media account, any social media channel, I will copy all the different links into the chat right now and also towards the end of the event, so that you know how to reach us, follow us, anything. So the Peter London Global Dance Company have been members and dear friends of ours for the past few years, and we are beyond happy that we could put something together today in order to entertain you a little bit on this Thursday afternoon. It is amazing that actually, apart from everything bad that is happening now, today's technology actually enables us to sit together here individually, everybody at their own home, putting together a show and giving you some or showing you some art for today. By this, I would actually like to already pass over the word to Gajraj, who is the new executive director of the Peter London Global Dance Company, and he will tell you a little bit about Peter London Global Dance Company as its own, and also about today's show. So, Cal, thank you so much, and yeah. Cal, just quickly, you're still on mute. Sorry.
Thank you, Leonie, and thank you for everyone for joining us today. I wanted to start by thanking our board of directors who are joining us today as well as many of our sponsors, the Knight Foundation, the Florida State Department of Cultural Affairs, Miami-Dade Department of Cultural Affairs, Miami Beach Department of Cultural Affairs, Coral Gables Department of Cultural Affairs, Funding Arts Network, the Avram Corporation, and the Miami Foundation. This year, Peter London Global Dance Company is celebrating its 10th anniversary as Miami's iconic contemporary dance ensemble. So we're really excited to bring this event to you virtually at a time that we can't be together in person. And now I'd like to introduce to you our founder, artistic director, and choreographer, Peter London.
Thank you so very much, Carl, and welcome to the Peter London Global Dance Company family. And you're doing a fantastic job so far. We're all excited about that. I'd like to thank the GABC for hosting this happy hour, and Madhu Mehta, who's also a member of GABC and founding president of the India-US Chamber of Commerce, came up with the idea of doing something like this with GABC, and we came up with a happy hour. So thank you, Madhu Mehta, for this fantastic idea. I'd like to thank our board of directors who are, I believe, attending right now, and of course our dancers. I'd also like to thank Leonie, of course, hosting. And we have a couple of dancers who are participating in this program today. We have Suzannah Koornneef and Jade McCartney. I would also like to thank our associate production manager, Zaylinyates, who's doing all the technical work behind the scenes and putting the production together, and our video technician, Yumin Wu, who is also a principal dancer with the company, but lives right now in San Francisco. So we have people from all different parts of the world that's working together to make this happen. I want to go on to talk about my how I got involved with GABC and the history of that. My first experience with the German culture came from when I was at Juilliard with one of my schoolmates, Christina Gabriel, who later married a German man, Manfred Becker, and had two boys. I was the best man at their wedding, and subsequently traveled to Europe for the first time as representing the Juilliard School with the Jose Limon Dance Company performing in Hamburg at the Staatsoper for the Nijinsky Festival. And that was fantastic, working there with all these great male dancers from around the world. So that was my first experience with German culture. And then consequently, having danced with the Martha Graham Dance Company, we toured Germany performing in Munich, in Berlin, and later on as Associate Artistic Director for the Martha Graham Company, taking the company back to my first time in Europe, in Hamburg, and then Cologne, and so on and so forth. We have several board members. One of our former president of our board was Krista Green, who did a great job in bringing people on board. She also brought the current ambassador for Malawi in Africa, Jürgen Bosch, who was the then Consul General, German Consul General for Miami. And other members, Krista Green brought on was Vivian Guter and Monica Bonfandino and Kiki Koornneef. So it's quite a German connection that I have, and so that's the membership with Germany. So now we're going to go on to part of our program, the Peter London Global Dance Company program, is something that we created, a choreographic initiative for women to give women opportunities to have a voice in creation. And one of the our first presentations was at the International Women's Forum that took place here in Miami. This is led by local women of this chapter, like Tony Randolph and Debbie Hoffman and Dorothy Terrell and others. And I paired female musicians from the Frost School of Music and our female dancers choreographing solos and presented it throughout the Perez Museum for that event. And it was highly successful. And I continued on creating these other opportunities. And one of them is pairing women composers with our female choreographers. And one of the pieces that I created was based on a 12th century German composer and polymath, well known around the world and in Germany. She's known as the Sibyl of the Rhine, Hildegard von Bingen. And one of the dancers will talk about further about that today.
Thank you so much, Peter. Just quickly, I would like to, well, I don't want to interrupt you. I just quickly want to jump in because we have a little surprise video for you, a little surprise message. You mentioned her name already, Kiki Koornneef, a well-known and also very dear friend of ours and dear member of the GABC. And when I told her, as I know that you all are connected and know each other, and when I told her that we will actually have a joint session, joint webinar or online event together, she did create a little video message.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that we would like to show you and everybody here quickly. So,
oh, wow.
I will just play that now.
Hi, dear all. I'm greeting you from Frankfurt. I'm right in front of the Alte Oper, and today my mission is to tell you that I'm a proud supporter of the Peter London Dance Company, and I serve on the advisory board. So, my dear, I would wish that Peter London is going to be here in Frankfurt soon to perform. In the meantime, you have the chance to watch him online with the GABC. So go ahead, if you are into ballet, you like dance, go ahead, watch it. Peter, I love you. I love GABC. Bye, friends.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you, Kiki, wherever you are. And of course, the company would love to perform in Frankfurt and throughout Germany. And I always have a wonderful time in Germany, going for the Wiener Schnitzel. And I taught in Stuttgart, as a matter of fact. at the school there, and they introduced me to Apfelsaftschola during the summer, which I love and I still make. Actually, one of my German friends, Christine and her husband, they bought me one of those whiz things to make the whiz, you know, the frizzy, so I can make my Apfelsaftschola. So
Amazing.
thank you so much for that surprise, and thank you, Kiki. And now we would I'd like to introduce Suzannah Koornneef, who will talk about her creative experience with the company.
Hi, my name is Suzannah Koornneef, and I am from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I received my Bachelor's in Fine Arts at New World School of the Arts in Miami, Florida. It was at New World where I had the opportunity to meet Peter London and study the Graham technique with him for the first time in my life. The Graham technique pushed me in ways that I did not know were possible. Every day gave a new physical, spiritual, emotional challenge, and I so enjoyed the hard work that Peter led us through. After I graduated from New World School of the Arts, I joined the Peter London Global Dance Company, so I'm going into my second season with Peter. Last summer, when Peter approached me about doing a work inspired by Hildegard von Bingen, I was extremely excited to have another passionate, intelligent, strong woman to study. Immediately, I started to see similarities between Martha Graham and Hildegard von Bingen and how they work in order to create their art. In the Graham technique, we start with breathing exercises, and it's very methodical how one must master the simple things in order to move on to the next, to the next, to the next. Each exercise influences the other. And I felt like Hildegard von Bingen had a very similar mindset. She would focus on her own spiritual mindset and heart through worship, prayer, and meditation. And that would influence her work in science, in the botanical, the music, and the composition. She would want to master the simple things before moving on to the bigger artistic things. So for me, when I had the opportunity to experiment and dream up how I wanted Hildegard von Bingen to be for me in my solo, I wanted to start with a very simple movement. My hands even go forward, and it shows my focus. And for me, it's like a personal time of prayer, meditation, and worship. From there, gradually, my movements grow bigger and stronger, but they're influenced by the beginning focus. By the end, my movements grow big and larger and more powerful and more passionate, just like Hildegard's amazing and inspiring compositions of her music work. I am so grateful that Peter gave me the artistic liberty to experiment and dream up some movements for my own solo, and then from there we worked together to fine-tune and create that repetition in order to master it for the stage. It is such an honor to be a part of this company and to do such meaningful work, and I'm super excited to see what the 2021 season holds for us.
Thank you so much, Suzannah. And we now move on to one of our other dancers, Jade McCartney, who will talk about her creative process.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being here with all of us. The experience learning the solo was insightful, empowering, and grounding. Insightful because it was my first solo role with the company. This taught me as a professional dancer how much of a privilege solo work is and how much research and work you have to put behind it. Throughout the solo, I was surrounded by Black men all over the stage. They helped me. They acknowledged my struggle as I acknowledged theirs. That sense of community held and kept my character together throughout the solo. Many movements throughout the solo represent struggle, but the strength that you can gain from it. I got to embrace the power of being a woman, and more extensively, the power of being a Black woman and what that entails. I was a healer, a watcher, and a protector of men as they reciprocated that same energy. So please have a look at the solo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jade, for that beautiful work that you've done for Black Men Stories that we premiered at the Adrian R. Center. We're an arts partner at the Adrian R. Center, and they help produce our annual production at the end of the year. And it's just wonderful to have the Adrian R. Center as one of our main supporters here in the city of Miami. And that work, Black Men Stories, I also created a partnership with the African Cultural Heritage Arts Center in Liberty City, and brought a lot of the young men that was working there with the summer. I worked with Ms. Eunice Eason and Marshall Davis and Mr. Theodore Harrell. And I brought those men there to the Adrian R. Center for them, of course, to have a sense of being part of that big theater, and also to pair them with the men so they have this mentorship, and also to see mature Black men and artists work right up close and personal, and have that experience so that they could be inspired to continue to be professional artists. I like to talk about the way I choreograph. As I said, it's, like to sit still, think about a storyline or music that inspires me, and then allow the movement to come from deep within my soul. And of course, then I will use my experience with West African dance technique that I learned in Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm from. And then all the techniques I learned at the Juilliard School as a student, the Martha Graham technique, Jose Limon technique, all the, everything there that I got. And then working directly with the Jose Limon Dance Company after graduation, and with the Martha Graham Dance Company and Martha herself. And also Alvin Ailey gave me a full scholarship for the Alvin Ailey School, and I studied there during my time at the Juilliard School as well. To run away and take classes at the Alvin Ailey School. So with all of that, I take all of those things and create a fusion in creating our work. And so now I'd like to share with you some of the work that we do in the company that represents the global community that exists here in Miami and South Florida. And the first work is I wanted to give our female Latin woman in the company something to sing themselves into and to represent the Latin culture here in South Florida. So I went for Carmen, based on the storyline of Carmen. And I love flamenco and the music, and I actually studied flamenco at the Juilliard School for 4 years. I learned to play the castanuelas as well, from my maestro Hector Zaraspi. And then later on, with the Martha Graham Dance Company, we traveled to Spain quite a bit. And one year we were in Seville, and one of their top male flamenco dancers invited us for a private performance and class, showed us the most incredible zapateado. And later on, we'll go to the clubs and they'll play American club music. And then in the middle of it, I heard flamenco, and everybody will get up and start dancing the Sevillanas. And I knew this dance that I studied at Juilliard. And so I started dancing the coplas. Everybody knew it, the 4 coplas of the Sevillanas. And they were amazed. It's like, wait a minute, where does this big, tall, 6-foot Black man learn to dance the Sevillanas like that? And so we had a great time that night dancing that work. And so I created this work, and we have Carmen as, of course, the main character, and 2 of the men, Yu Min Woo and Willie Williams, danced 2 of the guards when she was imprisoned at that time, and with her seduction in trying to get out of prison, and then of course the fight that happened between the two men in prison, the two guards who were vying for her attentions. So here is a short excerpt of Carmen.
Mi gente, yo les quiero decir de una experiencia que le pasó a un familiar. Mi hermano ha perdido la vida solo en la calle, sin que nadie lo supiera. Consejos no cogió, mensaje no escuchó, y por eso él no está conmigo. Estamos todos heridos con la muerte de mi querido hermano. Dios, quítame este dolor. Hoy yo sé que yo no tengo que vivir de esa manera, en la calle perdido. Solo por hoy yo no quiero beber, no me quiero endrogar. Yo no quiero morir, yo lo que quiero es vivir. Nuestros familiares, tanto que han sufrido, su dolor es incomparable. Familia, yo sé que aquí toditos identifican con la insanidad. Sufrir, nadie quiere más. Lo que aquí queremos es recuperar. Y ahora se ha iluminado mi vida, porque me han dado otra oportunidad.
The next excerpt you're going to see is choreography by two of my babies. Well, they're not babies anymore. But when I first started teaching them a dance empire in Pinecrest with Angel Logan, her school there, the two brothers, Justin and Evan Rappaport, babies, I taught them, and I would ask them, well, what do you want to do? Where you want to go after you've done this? Well, first we want to go to New World School of the Arts, where I teach, and then we want to go to Juilliard, where when I said, okay, but that's a lot of work. So, but they were consistent, and they worked hard all the way through, from Dance Empire to New World School of the Arts to Juilliard, and now they are dancing with Ballet BC in Vancouver, Canada. And of course, I bring Justin come every year to choreograph for the company. He's done about 5 or 6 works for us, and he's also creating a new work this year for us, our performance in December. And this is their work, a duet that they do together, they created, called How Will We Go About It? So here is the Rappaport brothers, Justin and Evan. That's beautiful dancing, and of course it's just an excerpt and not the original music that they chose to create their ballet. Another excerpt that we will show you is based on the origins of tango created by another one of my former students from New World, who of course went on to Juilliard and is now dancing with Ballet Hispanico. And of course, part of the initiative, the Women Choreographic Initiative, I make sure that I bring these women back home to choreograph on the company. And Melissa Bedisia does a phenomenal job. And I like tango. I love the music. I love the movement, and so on and so forth. So I would sometimes ask the dancers if they would consider using music of a certain nature. And Melissa went and did a lot of research on tango, its beginnings, and so on and so forth in Argentina. And I remember my experience in Argentina. We were performing. I was on tour with the Jose Limon Dance Company in Argentina. And our last stop was in Buenos Aires, performing at Teatro Colón. And the presenters took us out to the top tango club in Buenos Aires. And it's fantastic. The music, the way they dressed, the men in their suits and tie, the women in their skirts. And that was just, I mean, just one of the best times I've ever remember having in a club, dancing the tango. We had a great time. And so I was so glad that Melissa decided to do a work based on tango. It's called Se Encuentra en las Arbales. So here's an excerpt of Melissa Bedisia's work.
Para vivir, para cantar, para reír y volver a soñar. A mí me han dado otra oportunidad. Para poder correr por el mundo sin pensar en maldades. A mí me han dado otra oportunidad. Ay, qué bella es la vida, hoy vivo con claridad, con claridad yo vivo así.
As you can see, the work is not traditional tango. What Melissa is doing is taking the essence of tango, or some aspects of it, to create a contemporary work. And that's what we normally do. We don't necessarily do the absolute traditional movement. And the music that's being played for some of these videos is not the original music for the choreography, because we don't have the rights to the music. So we have our composer, Ezra Hogerbrook, who is now our first musical director and composer and artistic director of the Ballet and Dance Orchestra that joined us last year. Will create music for these online videos. And the next dance I'd like to talk about is Calypso, one of the first dances that I created for the company. And of course, it came from Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm originally from, and I'm steeped in that since I was 6 years old, started dancing. There's the retention of West African culture and dance, very heavy in the Caribbean and in Trinidad and Tobago. So you have dances, very authentic actually, as a matter of fact, from the Yoruba people in Nigeria, from Benin, and which you can find a lot of it in Haiti, from the Congo, from the Igbo people, and from Sierra Leone, the Demne and Temne peoples, a lot of dance and music in Trinidad and Tobago. That also came when the end of before the end of slavery. A lot of the planters brought their people into Trinidad and Tobago from Martinique and Guadeloupe, and eventually came from Carriacou and Grenada, where my family on my father's side is from. So lots of dance, and I grew up in that since I was 6 years old. And so what I do, I take excerpts of those dances, those social dances that we dance for the carnival fetes during carnival time, and you would see in the carnival parades, and blended and fused it with ballet technique and the modern dance technique that I learned, and create dances out of it. And this is an excerpt of one of them. And here's an excerpt of Calypso. And now I'd like to invite Jade to share with you some of the movement and the way it comes together in technique class. And you have a chance to take a little class with Jade. So if you don't, you can sit on your chair wherever you are, or you can stand and join Jade for a short little class. Eventually, we'll have full class that we'll be doing from now to December. We'll have some of our associate artistic directors and rehearsal director teach class online, so look forward to that. But here, right now, here's Jade McCartney teaching you some of that movement and how to get to it.
Hello, everyone. I love performing that piece, Calypso, so I hope you loved watching it. Let's learn some of those principles now. Let's get moving. You can go ahead and get up out of your seat or sit down if you like, but don't feel discouraged. Let's dance. So with our Afro-Caribbean warm-up, one of my favorite warm-ups, we start with isolations, starting from our head, going all the way down to our toes. So we're gonna start with our head, putting our hands on our hips, rock your head to the right, rock your head to the left, big circle and say, rock it, big circle and say, okay? Going to the shoulders, we're gonna go forward, forward, back, back up, down, down, forward, forward, back, back up, down, down. Going to our rib cage, we're gonna go to the side, back, side, front, big circle, big circle. We're gonna go side, back, side, front, big circle, big circle. Make sure you're remembering all of these because we're gonna put them all together. So we had our head with the rock, rock, big circle, and say, Going to our shoulders, forward, back, back, up, and down. Going to our rib cage, side and side, front, circle, circle. Going to our hips, this one's fun. We're gonna go forward, side, side, forward. Remember all of these stops. It's all about articulation. Forward, side, side, forward. One more time, just so you got it. Now let's put them all together one more time. And then we're gonna add some music. So with our hands on our hips, starting with our head, left side, rock, rock, switch it up and say, right, left, shoulders forward, back, back, up, down, down, shoulders forward, back. We're going to add a little bit of shaky hands, and then we're done. So, head to the right, and today. I'll pass it back to Peter. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade, McCartney. That was fabulous. I felt like I wanted to join in there. So for those of you, the next time you hear calypso music or you go to a party, now you have your dance class and technique, and you know exactly what to do so you can get up and show off and carry on. And if you ever travel to Trinidad and Tobago for the carnival, you are set to go. So thank you, Jade, for that. And now I'd like to turn this over to our brand new minted, again, Executive Director, Gajraj, to give you some information about some of our plans and what he has in store for our next 10 years and beyond.
Thank you so much, Peter. I especially enjoyed that. And thank you, Jade. My family is from Guyana, so we share the same similarities in culture with Trinidad. So that was especially enjoying for me. But before we continue with our plan to PLGDC, from the vault of Peter London, we actually have an excerpt of Wings, since Suzannah couldn't join us today. So Peter, do you want to give us a little intro to Wings?
The intro to Wings. So I spoke about that earlier, and being inspired by the phenomenal and beautiful music of Hildegard van Bingen, and Suzannah, as she spoke about being inspired as well with the music. I gave her some information about the concept of the dance and some basic movements so that she can develop, and then we worked on it together. And this is what I did for all the different solos. And then I put everything together with the chorus, created the chorus work and so on and so forth. So here is an excerpt of Wings.
That was incredible. Thank you so much for everyone joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. There's many ways that you can get involved with the Peter London Global Dance Company. And we're extremely thrilled to have announced that we're now streaming PLGDC at home, which is on www.patreon.com. Or you can go to our website at www.plgdc.org and link directly to all of the videos of Artist Talk that we have upcoming. We have so many more virtual contents to bring you. We're really excited to bring you a masterclass with Gentry George in a couple weeks. We actually have some artist talks featuring some of the artists that you've seen here today and some of the artists, performing artists and choreographers that you've come to know over the years from attending some of our live performances. Like I said, there's many ways to get involved, either with PLGDC and also with the German American Business Chamber of South Florida. So give us a call, email us, visit us online. You know, we're always looking for volunteers, new board members, creating advisory boards, and also creating more virtual events like this. So thank you so much to all of our sponsors. Thank you to Leonie from the Chamber. And a special thanks to Zaylinyates, who was our production manager behind the scenes, who's coordinating all the technical aspects. So Leonie, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Peter, for all of these amazing videos, and your stories behind them were amazing. I loved listening to you. I loved watching the videos, the dance performances. I can't wait for the actual next in-person performance on stage. Be sure I will be there. I will watch the shows, definitely. I'm a huge fan of yours now. Also, thank you, Jade, so much for your dance class. That was amazing. I did try to follow. I was not as beautiful as you danced, but it was amazing. And as per the chats, as per all the messages that came in, everybody that did try it too loved it too. So yes, thank you. It was great. Now we still have about 10 minutes for Q&A, for questions and answers. So please, everybody, just feel free to send us questions. If possible, please use the Q&A section for that and not the chat, so that we can kind of like separate our information and your questions. We have already also received one question, I think just now. It's anonymous. So again, for anyone that wants to ask a question anonymously, you can just tick the box for anonymous, and then you don't need to give out your name or anything. So the question we just received, let me see. Okay, so what can anyone of the people watching, so what can anyone that was watching this fantastic program today do for the Peter London Global Dance Company that is strategic in its 10th anniversary plan? Also, how can they, the watchers, the audience, how can they help now to stabilize your company for now and for the foreseeable future due to the ongoing challenges with COVID-19? Very, very good point, very good questions. Cal, would you want to answer?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for those questions, and they are great questions. The first one about anyone watching today and how you can support the organization. You're doing it right now by you committing your time and sitting down, you know, having a drink, getting up and dancing some calypso. You're helping to support PLGDC. And, you know, by you telling your friends, your families and colleagues about what we're doing, that also helps as well. Anyone in the performing arts knows that ticket sales alone don't cover the cost of performing arts, and we rely heavily on our donors. So if you are able to help donate, whether it's through donations or your time by volunteering on a board or an advisory board, or, you know, helping us fundraise, that's something that can help us as well. You know, we're always looking for ways to get involved. You know, leading into the second question, you know, with COVID, as you know, everything's been canceled this year. All of our events and programming have been canceled through the end of the year. That also included our plans for us having a live audience for our 2020 premiere of Women Roses Water, which Peter London has been working on day and night with our dancers and choreographers. And that event now will be virtual. So we'll have some more information on that coming. But instead of us having, a live event in December, we thought it was best for all of you, all of our patrons, our dancers, choreographers, and the safety of everyone, that we would have a virtual event. So we will still have our premiere, but that will be virtual. So keep an eye out for that. Sign up for emails. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you're getting all the announcements from us. And hopefully that answered your question.
Thank you. Please just, you or Zaylin, who's also here, just quickly insert all the links again into the chat box for everybody to follow. Also, if you have any fundraising link, please also feel free to insert this into the chat for anyone that would like to make a donation to go ahead and do so.
Absolutely. There's one thing to add to that. We're actually participating in the Give 828 campaign, which takes place tomorrow, Friday, August 28th. If you go onto our website, we're directly linked to our giving page, and it's a 24-hour giving platform, and it's a national organization that actually helps promote and fund multicultural-led organizations in the United States. So if you're able to donate anything, even if it's $1, any donation of any size is appreciated, and we thank you.
Perfect, amazing, very good. Thanks for mentioning this. Okay. So the next question also goes to Cal for the new director, or as the new executive director. Where do you see the company in the next 5 years?
Thank you. That's also a great question. It's something that Peter and I talk about almost every day. That's part of the strategic growth of the organization was bringing on an executive director. So I'm really thrilled that Peter and the board decided to select me and entrust me in coming on to lead the organization. Peter has done a tremendous job the past 10 years. And now we have to look towards the future. So when we look 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, we're looking at growth. We're looking at actually having a home for the Peter London Global Dance Company, for us to be able to have a studio space, to have an administrative space, to have a space that we can hold classes and community events. So if you are a real estate investor or a realtor, or you have a space or know a space that could help us out, definitely reach out and let us know. No space is ever too small or too big for us. Well, we'll always take advantage of that opportunity. But, for the next 5 years, we want to be able to grow the organization. And also, hopefully, when we're through the pandemic and the travel ban is lifted, we have plans to travel. We are the Peter London Global Dance Company, and we plan to make that global a part of our strategic plan. And we're already in talks with having these cultural dance exchanges in Morocco, South Africa, Trinidad, Guyana, Martinique. So we're working on ways to bring the Peter London Global Dance Company to the world, and in exchange bring those dance companies here and advertise Miami as a cultural destination.
Thank you so much. Perfect. And Zaylin just inserted the link again. Amazing. So for everybody that wanted to find out, which are also upcoming questions, where can you find the info about the virtual dance classes? So this is on the website. And also, in order to help the Peter London Global Dance Company, these links, Zaylin is just inserting them into the chat again, so then you can basically just click on them and find everything. Also about virtual dance classes, everything. And then there's another, not a question, but a statement. Congratulations on your growth and success. So congratulations to all of you. Absolutely, I highlight this. This is amazing. The next question, there was one question. Will there be, this is one question in the chat, so please again use the Q&A so that we actually have all the questions together. and don't oversee them. Will there be opportunities for young artists to work again with the company in the future?
I can answer that. Yes. So last year I created, as I said, I created a partnership with the African Cultural Heritage Arts Center in Liberty City, and I taught there throughout the summer. Trained the dancers, working with Miss Eunice Eason and Marshall Davis, and we got about 9 young men to come in and dance with us for Black Men Stories at the Adrian Arts Center. And the next portion of that was the next program, which was supposed to happen this year, that I was going to be working with the young girls at the African Cultural Heritage Arts Center to do a large work based on an West African deity, Oshun. And Oshun is known as the goddess of love and beauty and the protector of children. And so this huge dance is going to be created, this ballet. And I was all ready. I have all the information and the research and getting ready to do this. And of course, COVID happened. And so we had to postpone that. So I'm only going to be doing a solo, which will be a lament dance by the Oshun figure, the lament for all the people that are being killed and so on and so forth and in the streets and so on and so forth. And Oshun, being the goddess of the protector of children, she will represent the mothers and the women in the family who are losing their children and so on and so forth. And that will be presented virtually in December for a program which we're going to do at the Adrian Arts Center. And the dates remain for the premiere December 26th and 27th and 28th. But it will be streamed live virtually in partnership with the Adrian Arts Center. And when we get back face to face, I will produce the dance, working with the young ladies from the Liberty City African Cultural Heritage Arts Center. So that's going to happen. But we just have to wait until things get back in place.
Thank you. Actually, the same question. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. Ulice Eason, he also just asked the previous question. He also is asking whether you, Peter, will be writing a book soon.
Okay, so just one little correction. This is a Miss Eunice Eason. So she's the dance manager. That's okay. She's the dance manager at the Liberty City African Cultural Heritage Arts Center. And wonderful woman. We had a great time working together and getting these young dancers trained and ready to go. And we were so looking forward to getting the young ladies this year as part of our Peter London Global Dance Company educational community outreach program. And writing a book, I don't even get time to sleep. I said, since for the past 10 years, working as a chief cook and bottle washer because we don't have an administration. So I only basically get 2 hours of sleep, working full-time at New World School of the Arts, teaching high school, college, choreographing, and was taking care of my mom. So the book, only God knows about a book being written at some point.
It's all about setting priorities, and sleeping is overrated. So you should write a book.
Yeah, so
I'm
maybe.
sure we would all enjoy reading a book from you. I can only picture how amazing this book would be like.
Yeah, Martha Graham, working with Martha Graham was great, was phenomenal. And I have a lot of stories working with Martha. I loved her so much. The wonderful stories working with the Martha Graham Dance Company. So a lot of that would be in the book if I chose to do it. Yeah.
Perfect. Please do that. Perfect. So there are actually, I think, no more questions. We've received some more messages of people that loved today's show, but they had to leave now. So again, thank you so much for doing this together with us. It was a great cooperation. I really want to have a second round of this, a dance session 2.0. And yes, we have received amazing feedback already. And thank you everybody in the audience today for joining. We hope you also liked it as much as I did, but I'm convinced of that. And yes, thank you for having or making the time today to join us here at this show. And again, thank you everybody. Thank you, Peter, Cal, Jade, and also Zaylan for setting all of this up together with me and for, having each other here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Everyone.
hosting us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
you.
Carl,
Thank you.
Jade,
Bye.
Suzannah, Leonie, Madhu Mehta, Yumin Wu, Zaylan,
Everybody.
Christina,
Thank you.
Suzannah, Koornneef. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, audience, for joining us and sharing this happy hour with us so we can have some joy and some fun in the middle of all of this.
Oh, and today's show will also be uploaded to YouTube channels, to the GABC YouTube channel and the Peter London Global Dance Company YouTube channel. So you can watch it again, and everybody that missed it today, who's not going to hear this now, but they can watch it. So, okay, thank you. Bye.